What if something as simple as sitting down or standing up could quietly be warning you about a hidden danger to your health? Have you ever stopped to think that what feels like just another part of aging might be masking a much bigger problem? Imagine, there may be changes happening inside your body right now, and they're easier to overlook than you think. If you're in your 60s or love someone who is, you know how every little detail about health seems to matter more. This stage of life brings its own set of worries and hopes, and sometimes it feels like every decision counts double. My intention here isn't to criticize or scare you, but to offer a caring, honest conversation about something few people talk about, yet could make all the difference for your future well-being. Today, I want to help you see beyond the surface. You'll discover how your everyday routines might be quietly revealing truths that no blood test or doctor's appointment has ever shown you. And the best part? Understanding these signs can be the first step to taking control with practical ideas and real hope for your health journey. Before we dive in, tell me, where are you watching from? Leave a comment below and let me know. It's always inspiring to see this community of care reaching so many different places. And stay with me, because the very first clue might be hiding in a habit you haven't even noticed yet. Grip strength. When opening jars, think about the last time you try to open a jar or twist the top off a bottle. Did your hand slip? Did you have to ask for help? Or even get frustrated when the lid just wouldn't budge? This tiny moment actually says a lot about your overall muscle health. When your grip weakens, it's not just about the jar. It's about the quiet strength in your hands that helps you dress, cook, and care for yourself every day. It's something doctors and caregivers notice. A handshake just a little softer, a coffee cup held a little more carefully. It's a small sign, but can whisper about bigger changes happening inside your body before anything obvious appears. Let me share two stories. Eleanor, age 74, noticed her hands felt shaky folding laundry. Instead of brushing it off, she started squeezing a softball every morning, making a little game out of pinching clothespins onto a towel. Over time, her hands felt steadier, and she surprised herself by opening a stubborn jam jar for her granddaughter. No help needed. Then there's Arthur, age 81. He laughed off his trouble buttoning shirts, thinking it was just old age, but the frustration built up. One day, he spilled soup trying to steady the bowl, and that small accident left him embarrassed and wary of trying again. Eleanor's confidence grew. Arthur's hesitation did too. If these signs are ignored, the consequences are quiet but real. Everyday tasks take longer. You might avoid cooking, struggle with keys, or even feel nervous about eating alone. Little by little, independence slips away, not with a bang, but with a whisper. But you can act. Try squeezing a softball during your favorite TV show, or practice picking up coins or buttons from the table. Even a few minutes a day can help your hands remember their strength. And while your hands speak quietly, listen closely, because the next sign might not be in your muscles, but in something you feel deep inside. Moments of quiet withdrawal sometimes. The most telling sign of change isn't something you do, but something you no longer do. You might find yourself quietly stepping back from conversations, letting calls go unanswered, or feeling a twinge of relief when plans get canceled. These shifts are easy to dismiss. Just a bit of tiredness, or maybe you're simply not in the mood. But when you notice yourself or someone you love avoiding even small social moments, it's worth pausing. Why does this matter? Because these subtle withdrawals are often the first clues that something deeper is stirring beneath the surface. When focus wavers, or the world feels just a bit more overwhelming, it's natural to pull away. You might laugh off a forgotten name or a missed appointment, but deep down, a quiet frustration or shame can take root. Over time, these feelings can chip away at your confidence, making you question your place in the conversation or even in your own life. Take Helen, age 71. When she started misplacing her calendar and repeating questions, she felt embarrassed. But she chose to talk openly with her daughter, who helped her set up a daily notebook and simple memory games. Helen's confidence grew. She found herself laughing again, reaching out to friends, and savoring the comfort of little routines. In contrast, Martin, at 78, grew impatient with himself. Each forgotten detail felt like a personal failure. So he withdrew, stopped calling his neighbors, and spent more time alone. The silence in his home grew heavier day by day. Ignoring these quiet withdrawals doesn't mean they disappear. Instead, life slowly contracts, social circles shrink, joy fades, and even a simple conversation can feel exhausting. But there are gentle ways to push back: jotting down reminders, playing a daily crossword, or simply sharing how you feel with someone you trust. These small actions can help rebuild your sense of control and connection. But not every sign of change is so easy to spot. Sometimes what's happening beneath the surface can be felt in your body long before it shows in your memory. And that's where we turn next. The fourth sign: when sleep doesn't restore, an invisible weight that lingers, even after a full night in bed. You close your eyes, drift off, and wake up only to find your energy just as thin, your limbs still heavy, your mind wrapped in a quiet fog. It's a kind of tiredness that sleep alone can't heal, a rest that leaves you wanting more, but not knowing why. This gentle but persistent fatigue can signal that your body isn't recovering as it should. Maybe your muscles aren't rebuilding, maybe your inner rhythms are out of step, or maybe the simple act of restoration is slipping quietly away. It's not just about feeling sleepy, it's the sense of never quite being recharged, of pouring from a cup that never fills. Let's meet Grace and Walter, both in their late 70s. Grace has learned to treat her rest like something precious. She keeps a calm routine, lowers the lights in the evening, settles into bed at the same hour each night. Morning sunlight, a quiet cup of tea, a gentle stretch. Her days begin with intention. Walter, though, brushes off his tiredness. He dozes off in front of the TV, wakes up at odd hours, sometimes sleeps through the afternoon, and then lies awake at night. His days blur together. Grace wakes with gentle energy, her mind clear enough for a crossword, her mood steady as she greets the day. Walter, on the other hand, finds his mornings clouded by irritability and forgetfulness, his motivation flickering out before breakfast, his sense of connection fading quietly. Over months and years, this difference grows. When rest is shallow, immunity weakens. Muscles recover more slowly. Even the heart and mind feel the strain. Emotional resilience thins, worries grow heavier, and daily life becomes harder to navigate. But it's not about fear. It's about noticing the shift early before it quietly settles in. What might change if you gave your rest the same care as your waking hours? Small, gentle changes can help. Try setting a steady bedtime, letting your evenings grow calm and quiet. No screens, just soft light and slow breaths. A short walk in the morning, a few minutes of gentle movement, can remind your body when it's time to wake and when it's time to rest. There's more to explore. If sleep rebuilds your body, what happens when appetite begins to fade? Rest matters, but so does how, and if you nourish yourself every single day. When meals lose their sparkle, it's easy to overlook when food stops feeling inviting. Maybe breakfast becomes just a cup of tea. Maybe lunch is skipped, or dinner is always the same toast and cheese. This quiet change can seem harmless, but it often hides something deeper, a slow fading of appetite, energy, and joy. Eating isn't just about filling up. Food holds our stories. A favorite soup on a rainy day, the comfort of warm bread, the laughter around a shared table. When we start to eat less or only out of habit, the body misses out on more than calories. Muscles grow weaker, energy slips away, and even moods can flatten. Sometimes the heart feels emptier too. Take Ruth, who's 78. She makes her meals simple but special. Ripe tomatoes, a sprinkle of herbs, a slice of fruit after lunch. She sits by the window, enjoying each bite, sometimes calling her daughter to chat while she eats. Ruth feels present, her days steady and bright. Then there's George, 81. He used to love fixing breakfast. Lately, he just grabs a cracker or forgets to eat it all. His fridge is half empty and meal times blur together. George feels tired, even after resting, and finds himself drifting through the afternoons. His body grows lighter, but life feels heavier. Sometimes when the plate stays full, the body begins to empty, slowly and silently. Strength fades, and days lose their shape. But small changes can bring color back. Try eating at the same time each day, even if it's something simple. Add a splash of color, a strawberry, a handful of greens. If you can, share a meal or a call while you eat. Nourishment isn't just about food. It's about keeping the spark alive. Still, even with a full plate, there can be something missing, something that food alone can't fill. Days without real conversation, there's a sign of aging that's easy to miss, but it runs deeper than most people realize. It's what happens when days pass without real conversation, without someone truly seeing or hearing you. This isn't just about feeling lonely. It's about slowly disconnecting from the world around you. When voices fade and laughter disappears, you might not notice it at first. But over time, your energy slips away, your memory softens, and even your muscles can forget what it's like to move with purpose. Science shows that when no one asks how you're really doing, your body's defenses can grow weaker, your motivation dulls, and even small tasks start to feel heavier. Take Evelyn, who's 78. Every morning, she calls her sister before breakfast. They share stories, worries, and sometimes just a laugh about the weather. Later, she joins her neighbor for a short walk or sits with friends over coffee. The warmth she feels lingers through her day, making her steps lighter and her mind brighter. On the other hand, there's Frank. He's 80 and lives alone. He reads the paper in silence, turns on the TV just to fill the quiet, and sometimes goes all day without speaking to anyone. What started as a few quiet afternoons became weeks of emptiness. His appetite faded, his sleep grew restless, and even his favorite hobbies lost their color. Over time, this kind of isolation does more than hurt your mood. It can slow your thinking, drain your strength, and leave your body more open to illness. It's not just about being alone. It's about what starts to fade when no one's around to notice you. But even small steps can make a difference. A weekly call to a friend, saying hello to a neighbor, or sending a simple message to someone you miss can bring back warmth and energy. These aren't big leaps. They're gentle reminders that you still matter and that someone is listening. Still, some signs of aging are even quieter. Sometimes, the body starts to speak before the heart is ready to listen. The invisible weight of solitude when no one asks about your day and the quiet lingers longer than it should, loneliness becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a silent burden. The absence of shared laughter, the missing warmth of a simple touch. These are not just gaps in your routine. They are gaps in your health. The body also feels when affection is lacking, when days pass without a single voice to break the silence. Emotional isolation quietly chips away at your energy. It erodes your memory, your motivation, even your body's ability to stay strong and resilient. Without meaningful connections, stress hormones rise, sleep becomes restless, and the heart beats a little heavier. Over time, the sense of disconnection can trigger real illness, making you more vulnerable to disease, to depression, and to the slow fading of your own spark. Imagine Margaret, who calls her daughter every morning, joins the neighbors for tea, and laughs about yesterday's news. Her steps are lighter, her mind more alert, her days filled with purpose. Across the street, Harold eats his lunch in silence, the TV his only companion. Days blur together. He forgets names, misplaces simple things, and feels a deep exhaustion that no nap can fix. The difference is not just in their routines, it's in their bodies, their minds, and the very light in their eyes. When emotional isolation is ignored, motivation fades. The risk of depression quietly grows. Memory slips away, and every day feels heavier than the last. The immune system weakens, and the body, sensing the loss of connection, begins to withdraw too. This happens to many people, but even small acts can gently reverse it. Try reaching out, send a message to someone you care about. Join a group, even if it's just online. Create a moment in your week to listen and be heard. Sometimes, a 5-minute chat is enough to bring color back to your day. You deserve to feel seen, to feel needed, to feel alive. But what about when it's not just your heart that feels alone, but your body too? When the silence outside starts to echo in your movements, your breath, your balance. When your steps start to waver, stumble here, another there. But what if it's not just a distraction? When you notice your steps are less certain, maybe you trip on a rug that never bothered you before or hesitate before climbing the stairs. That's your body quietly waving a red flag. These moments are easy to brush off. Maybe you laugh, blaming your shoes or the uneven sidewalk. But subtle signs of instability often whisper before they shout. They can signal muscle weakening, changes in your sense of balance, or slow shifts in posture and coordination. Ignored, these tiny warnings can become the prelude to something bigger. Falls that cause fractures, hospital stays, or a sudden loss of freedom. Evelyn, for example, felt a little unsteady getting out of bed one morning. Instead of ignoring the feeling, she decided to mention it to her daughter, who encouraged her to practice simple balance routines, standing on one foot near the kitchen counter or walking heel to toe along the hallway. Slowly, Evelyn's confidence returned. She felt proud, even relieved, as her movements grew steadier and her fear faded. On the other hand, Frank dismissed his occasional tripping as nothing more than a nuisance. When he slipped in the bathroom, embarrassment kept him quiet. Over time, his world shrank. He avoided outings, worried about falling in public, and eventually needed help with basic tasks. What began as simple missteps led to a loss of independence he never expected. Ignoring physical imbalance isn't just about risking a bruise or a bump. It's about the possibility of more serious injuries, long recoveries, and losing the freedom to move as you wish. The good news is that prevention can be simple and accessible. Try balancing for a few minutes each day. Walk in a straight line, hold onto a sturdy chair, and stand on one foot, always with safety in mind. Training your balance for just 5 minutes daily can prevent months of recovery and protect your independence. If the body has already shown where it is fragile, what else is quietly waiting to be noticed? Not in your steps, but perhaps somewhere deeper, where feelings linger without a name. The eighth sign. The gentle weight of unspoken stories. There are memories we never shared, words swallowed back in fear or pride, wounds we tried to forget. Over the years, these silent stories begin to weigh on us in subtle ways. It might be the ache in your chest that lingers after a sleepless night, or the heaviness in your shoulders as you move through the day. The body remembers what the heart hides. When feelings remain unspoken, resentments, regrets, or the longing for forgiveness, the nervous system stays on alert, never quite able to rest. The immune system weakens, energy dims, and even our appetite for life begins to fade. But this isn't about blame, nor about reliving old pain. It's about making space, gently, for the possibility of release. Imagine two lives. In one, an old friend, George, carries decades of unspoken disappointment and unresolved conflict. He avoids conversations that matter, closes himself off, and over time, sleep becomes restless, his mood sours, and each day feels a little heavier. Next to him, Margaret, after years of silent suffering, chooses to write unsent letters, to speak honestly with a trusted companion, and to sit quietly with her own feelings. Slowly, her steps grow lighter, her mornings brighter, and peace returns where tension once lived. Ignoring the silent pain of the heart can age the spirit before its time. It can drain vitality, invite illness, and build walls around us, making the world seem smaller and colder. A locked heart prevents the body from breathing fully, from feeling truly alive. If you recognize this gentle weight, you might start by writing what you feel, even if no one ever reads it, or by releasing forgiveness, quietly and just for yourself. These are not gifts to others, but to your own soul. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It simply allows the pain to loosen its hold. And as you breathe a little deeper, notice the space opening within. For when the heart begins to let go, the body learns to live lighter. Now, perhaps it's time to wonder, what quiet strength still lives within you, waiting to be remembered? Today, you had the chance to look inside, with your eyes and with your heart. We explored together the subtle but powerful signs that aging brings, not as a sentence, but as invitations to awareness, care, and gentle transformation. Every ache, every moment of tiredness, every memory left unspoken is not a diagnosis, but a message from your body and soul, asking for attention and tenderness. From the changes in your muscles to the silences in your story, each detail can be a doorway to a longer, more vibrant life if you dare to listen. Now, I invite you to pause for a moment and observe yourself. Notice your breath, the way you move, the emotions that come and go, the connections you nurture or neglect. You don't have to change your entire world overnight, but you can begin today with a mindful walk, a nourishing meal, a conversation you've been postponing, or even a moment of quiet to hear your own needs. Small choices are seeds for great changes, and the opportunity to take care of yourself is always within reach. Thank you for sharing your time and attention with me until here. That alone shows a deep respect for your life, your health, and perhaps for the lives of those you love. It's an act of courage and wisdom to seek knowledge and to care. So know that you are not alone on this journey. If this content spoke to you, I warmly invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Each new video is crafted to help you remember what matters, to encourage you to take better care of yourself, and to walk this path of longevity and well-being with more clarity and hope. And remember, time alone does not age us. What truly wears us down is ignoring the signs, silencing our needs, and letting the days pass without intention. Listen to what your life is trying to tell you. Take action, however small, with kindness and courage. Your future is still being written, and you have the power to make it brighter, stronger, and more meaningful, starting now.